All right, so I was sitting here thinking. Um, I remember watching an episode of. I don't. I think it was on Discovery Science or Discovery Channel. There was a show called, or it was about this Mile High skyscraper called Extopia. It was this amazing building. It was this huge structure that it was supposed to be able to house 250,000 people. So I remember watching this episode, and I watched it with my roommate. So I'm not. I'm definitely not crazy. I did see this episode. I know I did. You may have seen it, but anyway, I wanted to watch it again. I wanted to see a picture of this thing because it got my imagination ran away with me when I was watching this episode. I was thinking, man, how awesome it would be to live if a whole city was in one building, right? Like a large city, like 500,000 people or 250,000 people all living in one building. I thought, wow, what an awesome idea. That'd be crazy. So I was thinking, man, I want to see this again if I can find this episode again. So I did a Google search. And what I did was I went on Google and I typed in Extopia, which is what I remember the name of it being. But I tried variations like Ectopia and whatever others. But then also Mile High Skyscraper, which is, I think, what they called it. I think it was the name of the episode of this show. So I typed in Mile High Skyscraper, and lots of things come up for that. I think it's a song or something like that. But there's lots of results. But then I was thinking, man, I can't find this thing on Google. And how could this not exist on Google? Everything is on Google. If I know something exists, right? I saw it with my own two eyes. I should be able to find it on Google somewhere, right? So I was talking to my roommate James here, and it occurred to me that, wait a minute, that show, what if that show was just made up by like some creative guys working for some marketing company, and they sell the show to Discovery Channel, for example. Like if it was, I don't remember if it was Discovery Channel or Science Channel, but if somebody comes up with this show, right? They make this Mile High Skyscraper, all really beautifully designed and really interesting and really awesome to like. Wow, I would love to watch to live in this. And then they make up all sorts of new future technologies that don't exist. Oh yeah, we need to develop this new material because concrete is too heavy and steel is too heavy and too expensive, so we need to invent all this. And so they talk about all these things, and they make a whole show out of it, right? Then it occurred to me, if this isn't really a project, like if this isn't something that's being worked on or researched or anything like that, it's just somebody's fantasy, some sci-fi show made to look like a science show, then what if it's just the idea of a marketing company that sells the keywords? Like, is it a business that's selling these keywords like Extopia and Mile High Skyscraper and meteor impact and all these words that people must type because they get excited because they saw an asteroid movie or an asteroid show? How every Discovery Channel show ends with like they always end up talking about how an asteroid could hit the Earth and kill everything. And how it, we know 65 million years ago it destroyed the dinosaurs. There are people going on Google doing searches for these kinds of shows, right? Or these kinds of articles, new articles written by a scientist about what they know about the Tunguska blast of 1909 or 1906, that huge explosion that nobody knows what caused. It happened in Siberia. People are doing searches for these obscure things because I'm one of those people, and I know that there's a whole group of people out there, probably millions of people that love doing searches for random stupid crap on the internet, like zoology or cryptozoology, looking like Bigfoot videos and stuff like that. I mean, I'm a total skeptic, but I know that I still like to look at the UFO footage and stuff. And so there are people out there looking for that stuff, and so they must be selling the keywords on Google, right? I mean, nobody owns words exactly, except if you're actually a customer of Leapfish. I suppose you can own a word, but on Google you bid for words, and the bidding depends on the popularity of the word and how many eyes it attracts. And so if I'm doing searches for words like Extopia, made up words, or Mile High Skyscraper, which is like a keyword, three word phrase, which is a keyword in Google. And so I was thinking, these are made up words. So that's a way to get more eyes to a certain area of the internet. So if you make a show, something like that, and make it like, a certain group of people would have seen this or would have been interested in something like this, so they're going to be searching for it, right? People are going to say, dude, did you see the Mile High Skyscraper episode on Discovery, right? And then they don't show it. You can't find it on the website or anywhere, but every link that I've found that refers to it links to an ad site, a well-done ad site. And so I'm thinking, I think this is one whole big scam to get me clicking words on the internet, just keywords that are just, completely irrelevant. I mean, nobody would type this except if they had seen that episode, right? Nobody would have ever heard of this. It's just like a tracked ad, like a phone number, a tracking phone number in a Yellow Pages ad. It's exactly the same thing. Nobody would have seen the phone number unless they saw the ad, right? And so if I watched that episode, I was one of the 100,000 people that happened to see that episode of that show. It was only aired once. Anybody else who saw it remembers, but they would be the ones who would have spread by word of mouth the words Extopia and Mile High Skyscraper, obvious keywords that are just pointed out in the show. And they keep referring to the name of it and that it's a Mile High Skyscraper specifically. That's how it was designed. And so anybody going online to do a search for those words is going to be exposed to all these ads. And so if it's somebody out there actually selling something with these ads, then I gotta say this is a brilliant scam. But if it's not a scam, if I'm making this all up, if I'm just dreaming it up, then it is a brilliant scam to run, because I would do that right now. I would if I had a like a studio where I could create an episode and narrate it and do whatever I might have to do to make a really good quality but all fake science-y show for Discovery Channel where they have no actual footage or no real interviews. Actually, I don't remember if there were any interviews in the episode, but what I'm saying is that if they could make just a show, some random episode of some show that it's not part of a series or anything. Hey, did you see the episode about that, that new crazy building that they're going to build in Shanghai? Right? And so people start typing in keywords like Shanghai and Mile High Skyscraper and all these words, and then they end up getting ad views. They get impressions. They get numbers, legitimate numbers that they can tell their ad buying customers about. We got 100,000 definite interests in these keywords, and they're driving traffic to their websites using words that don't have anything to do with what's actually there. The ads are for this, and they're going to get eyes, but they're attracting the eyes of people who would like shows like this, and so maybe they're the type of people who like to just fantasize about the future and think about how crazy the world could be, and so those kinds of minds are out there, and there's a way to market to them, and that may be it. So I dissected that whole situation in my head just a little while ago, and I thought, man, I have to get this down, because it occurred to me that it might be the same with asteroid shows, where the world ends in an apocalypse or something like that, because there are a lot of people that fantasize and look forward to the end of the world in some kind of perverse way, like through their religion or through their just own sick fantasies about the death of everything on Earth. And so, whatever their fantasies are, I'll admit I enjoy the occasional asteroid show. I'm not knocking anybody who likes that. I'm just saying that there's something in our minds sometimes, in lots of us, that looks forward to the future or thinks about the future and what it could be. And some people dwell on the positive, like, wow, we could build a new civilization, or it could all end in fire and brimstone. And so I suppose you could have, either extreme is interesting at times. But so I thought, this is a big keyword scam. All I have to do is make a few episodes of interesting topics that are completely false or fraudulent or just fantasy, and then get people to go on Google and do searches for these keywords, driving them to ad sites that are selling products that are not really relevant, or are. Maybe if you advertise end of the world, the end of the world words like asteroid or apocalypse or words like that on Google, that you could be advertising first aid kits and Humvees and bottled water in huge cases. So it's an idea that I sort of cooked up just a little while ago. So thanks for listening.